Welcome to another episode of Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a great show today. We're going to talk about stimulus checks. When did they go out? Then we're going to talk about how China possibly knew how serious this COVID-19 was and used it to get out of the latest trade deal. And we're going to talk later on about the latest assembly here in Colorado. Last Thursday we had our congressional assemblies. We'll talk about that and what involves in that and many, many more. So let's welcome my co-host, Lloyd Mendenhall.
Hey Art, how you doing?
I'm
Happy
doing
Easter.
good. Thank you, and happy Easter to you and Judy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eh,
It's been a quiet one because as I told you before the show, I just got out of bed. I'd woke up earlier and I thought, oh man, I told Judy, I said, boy, maybe I should set my alarm because
There you go.
I've got to get up and do art show. And I fell asleep and all of a sudden she's waking me. She says, you got a show to do? The phone dinged. You better wake up.
Oh boy.
So I'm here.
All right, now I gotta get the comment section. Okay, I think we're good there.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, was bringing up the pop-up chat.
All right, and let's see it. Do.
There is Rick. And
All right.
Rick Halber, and I need to make a big apology to him. Last night in your show, I was typing and I was telling Rodney Bell, I was, he asked a question and I can't remember what it was. Oh, what did Yakamoto say? And I said, bite me. Well, he thought I was saying it to him.
No.
Question mark. I said, no, I'm talking about Yamamoto. And I put at Rick Bell. Not Rick Halber or Rodney Bell. I said Rick Bell. they were nice enough to laugh. It's like, man, of course, I was on my tablet, so it doesn't pop up the phone. And I just talked to Rick yesterday. And yeah, it was, I embarrassed myself.
All right, I want to welcome Easter to Chris Hope, Rick Halbert, Mitch, Old Guy, and Drone.
Hey, guys. Yeah.
So
I got something that I got. I got a text yesterday. It says there's a package on a blue chair on your front porch. And I'm going, okay. So I got something, but I won't be showing it until my show on Monday. But
there you go.
It's something I'm really proud of, and I think it's really cool.
Cool.
So,
well, and I've got a package that I should get tomorrow as well. Speaking of packages, did anybody get their stimulus check? I've been reading in some of the different forums online that the stimulus checks either have gone out or will be going out Monday or Tuesday. And I posted that on my Facebook page. Found out some of my friends got their checks Friday.
Right.
So evidently it must be. I don't know if it's by age or maybe it's by last name. You know, if your last name begins with these letters, you'll get them. You'll be the first to get it. So with my last name being Carlson, maybe I'm in the next batch. Lloyd, you'll probably get yours Friday.
Yeah. Mine'll be right in the middle of everything, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And Mitch will probably get his next week.
right. He said no checks yet, only unemployment, not
Yeah,
stimulus.
yeah, I should be getting my unemployment check later this week. Yeah. So,
Mitch says the checks are starting in the middle of the week.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll really help me out, kind of uh, ease the pain of this whole thing. But one thing I have noticed is I noticed my gasoline bill will be quite a bit lower this month.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of a two-edged sword because we had that thing between the Arabs and, or, between Saudi Arabia and Russia having that fight, and
Hmm.
they've decided, I think, to increase production, if I
Hmm.
see it right. But
Yeah.
then the only reason they're doing that is, you know, I don't know why they would increase production because there's already so much oil sitting around that's not being used because everybody's been stuck at home. So
Hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
other side of it. And they're trying to get rid of, I see a few places every so often will just drop their price to 99 cents. I think just to empty out their tanks
Yep.
so they
Hmm.
can, get it at the higher price and make a better profit off of it or something after. That's what scares me is after this is over and we're allowed to start going back to work and getting back out there and doing stuff, the price is going to go up so high that it's going to stagnate the economy before it gets kick-started again.
Well, you might be right on that. That maybe with the increase of demand will cause a spike in the price.
Right. No.
Yeah, that's something to think
Yeah.
about.
Chris said they reached a deal today to cut production. And that was it because they refused to cut it because of Russia. Russia
Yep.
wanted it cut a long time ago.
Yep.
So, you know, if you didn't if you haven't gotten gas and you can get out, I suggest you fill in your tanks today and, you know,
Yeah.
stay back in your house and save it
Yeah.
for a
That's
week or
what I
so.
might have to do after the show is run
Yeah.
out and get some gas. I always go to this one gas station. Well, because I have a card for that station,
Right.
and they usually have the cheapest gas
Yeah.
around. So, and that's Sinclair Oil.
Oh, yeah.
And happy Easter to Steve Carpenter. Yep.
Happy Easter to everyone out there. I'm going to say it, not type it. It takes too long.
And where is Sinclair Oil out of?
Is it Texas or Oklahoma?
No,
Colorado?
no, you're close.
Not Utah.
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Yep.
Okay. Because
Hmm.
we used to have well, we had a Sinclair refinery in Tulsa,
Uh huh.
and we had Sunoco, Phillips, Sinclair,
Yep.
uh, McGee, or
Hmm.
was it the Kerr or the McGee station? I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was. It's Kerr. It was Kerr. Yeah.
Uh,
So
well, you remember Fina? Fina was a station that I
yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah.
back in the '60s, and then there was Skelly.
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 Yeah, Skelly was out of Tulsa because one of our main highways cutting across town is called the Skelly Bypass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Skelly was definitely out of Tulsa. Well, up until the very early 80s, about the time I moved to Oklahoma, uh, Oklahoma was the oil capital of the world because,
Wow.
yeah, because we had more production facilities. Uh, the Tulsa Fairgrounds, they have a big guy standing there holding on to. He's got on a hard hat and holding on to a oil rig
Oh,
because is called the Expo Center
right.
and it's part of the fairgrounds, and that's where all the oil companies from around the world came to meet, and
Hmm.
all anybody connected with oil and gas industry
Right.
would come there and they'd show off their new products to these oil magnets that would come in,
Hmm.
and because that we had the largest amount of gasoline refineries at the
Mhm.
time, and oil producers. So we're literally the oil capital of the world through the 70s. And
Mhm.
then it finally, when the bottom fell out of the market in like 84
Right.
and everything just really dropped, the price of gas didn't, but the industry did.
Yeah, because there was a lot of regulations and
Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Yeah. And that,
nobody was building new refineries because there
right,
was regulations on that, and they found out, oh, it's cheaper to drill for oil outside the United States,
right.
and that wasn't until the mid to late 2000s that regulations started dropping. But
Yeah.
with the perfection of fracking, they
Right.
were able to find big untapped fields here in the
Yeah.
United States. And then they found out some of the old fields that they thought were dry still had a lot of
A
oil
lot of
left in
oil in 'em. Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, uh, we started doing fracking. Of course, the other problem that came with fracking is we started having earthquakes.
Hmm.
And of course, that was related to the spillover, because they shoot steam down in there, heat up that oil shale. The
Yeah,
oil would float up, they'd pump it out, but that steam had to go somewhere. And they
right.
had uh, depository uh, places where they'd fill in another crack in the ground, but they were putting too much in, and it was causing a shift in the plates
Right.
and causing earthquakes. And God,
Hmm.
I think it's about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe.
Hmm.
No, it was before that, probably about 5 years ago. We were having earthquakes every day
Hmm.
here, and there's one area where my cousin lives. They had, 4.1 to 5.5 earthquakes
Wow.
every day.
Yeah.
She got to where she just didn't put anything on the wall anymore. She just let it
Yeah.
sit in the floor until, and each time we'd have an earthquake, a major one, a bigger one, they'd say, okay, that's related to
Hmm.
this well, so we'll pull. And they each once they found them and they got it straightened out, and they got them where they can only put in so many pounds of pressure of runoff
Right.
steam,
Hmm.
and that keeps it from doing that. So
Yeah.
fracking has turned good.
Yeah, and plus they use different chemicals, and plus they pump like a slurry of really fine sand
Yeah.
that kind of pushes the oils out of the porous rock and
Right.
pockets. Yeah,
Yeah.
here in Colorado we have oil shale up by Rifle, Colorado.
Yeah.
And there
Yeah.
was a big boom and bust back in the 80s, back then.
Yeah. Well, they
And
had it in Grand Junction too.
yep. And I don't know if you knew about this, but did you know there were uh, atomic detonations here in Colorado?
No. When?
Yeah, there was one at the Roan Plateau, and this was part of the Plowshares project where they wanted to use atomic bombs for Army Corps engineering, like building canals and harbors. Well, here in Colorado, they wanted to use it kind of as fracking, to where what they did is they drilled down to about 6,000 feet below the surface,
Right.
and they detonated, I think, I like to say a 40 kiloton device,
Right.
and to kind of create a cavern to where all the oil and gas would flow into. Well, they didn't take into account that oil and that gas was radioactive after that.
Yeah. When was this?
And
What time period?
so they didn't allow any oil drilling around that site. Now they finally allow people to come back and
Right.
live there. And there's a
Yeah.
plaque right at the site where people could go and say, "This is the site of the Rhone Plateau detonation."
Okay.
And then
When
there were
was this?
three. This was in, I think, the late '60s. And then there was another one that was in '72, '73, where they did three detonations all at the same time. This was up at Rio Blanco.
Oh, that one I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well,
And
I mean, you had, I mean, how many states out there have their own atomic energy commission uh,
oh,
office? You know,
well, yeah.
because Grand Junction had one. That's when I got married the first time. Uh, I went into service, and once I got through boot camp and all that, my now ex-wife had to go down to the Atomic Energy Commission to get her military ID as a
Oh, yeah,
spouse.
that's right. Because over in Grand Junction, down at Fruta, that's where they
Uranium.
were mining uranium and vanadium down there.
Yeah. And we had mill tailings everywhere. They used it for landfill, and
Yep.
then used it to.
Then,
Then they had to go back and dig it all up because uh, of the radioactive. Our high school, between our junior and senior year, they dug out completely underneath it, and
yep.
s- for some reason, us kids thought, "Hey, wouldn't that be cool to be underneath the school? It's radioactive waste, and we're
Hmm.
crawling around in this stuff."
Yep.
Funny thing, 5 kids in my graduating class have multiple sclerosis,
Wow.
and that's out of, I think, 275 or
Right.
300. It's a big percentage when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. And also, there's a town of Yerevan
Yeah.
that's not too far from there. Now that town's abandoned now.
Oh, really?
When they shut down the mine there, I
Yeah.
mean, uh, there's still foundations and abandoned homes there. Yeah. So and then, well, here in the Denver metro area, just to the west of Arvada, you had Rocky Flats,
Right?
where
I remember Rocky Flats.
they made components for atomic bombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh, we got Drone Life RC, Mike Roach,
Yeah.
and Ron Lockwood. Welcome, welcome, and happy Easter. And right above Arvada, up in the hogback, there was a uranium mine up there. That was the Schwarzwälder mine,
Right. Right.
and that was discovered. I think it was in the late '40s, early '50s, and they mined that for several years. Now
Yeah.
it's a super fun site right there.
Yeah.
And Rocky Flats has been closed down for quite a while, and they took down the buildings there, and now it's a wildlife refuge.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know it was. I think it was it Rocky Mountain Arsenal or Rocky Flats where they were storing all the nerve and mustard gas under.
That's Rocky Mountain Arsenal.
Right, that's why I
Yep,
always got those 2 mixed up,
yep,
and because I had a kid I grew up with, he and, after they went to college, I think they went for engineering or chemical engineering or something.
right,
Anyways, after when they got ready to shut down Rocky Mountain Arsenal,
yeah,
they had to dispose of all of that stuff,
yep.
and his company was in charge of going in and removing all that stuff.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, that was part of Dow Chemical. Yep. Okay.
let me run for a second, and then you
All
get
righty.
back, and we'll quit talking about atomic energy.
Okay. All right. All right, everybody. Well, I guess that leaves me for a few minutes. Yeah. So you're getting a little bit of history about atomic production here in Colorado. Yes, we were in the thick of it during the Cold War, and there had been several fires at Rocky Flats where what would happen is because they were actually milling these plutonium pits, is what they were. And when they milled those, well, you get the metal filings and the metal dust. They would accumulate, and with nuclear material, if you get enough of that uh, together in one area, well, it'll start heating up and become fizzle, and it'll start a fire. And that's what happened at Rocky Flats because some of that plutonium dust was getting into the vents and would collect and start a fire. Even some of those booths that they had where they would handle the plutonium, they would they looked like lead biscuits. They were, and then they found out later that it was much safer to just melt it down and to cast it. Then that way it was much safer to do it that way. And they used a lot of solvents to when they machined that metal. So here we go. We got Lloyd is back, and he's still fiddling around.
I'm back.
All right, he's back.
All right, there we go. Should be.
So that's what's been going on here in Colorado during the nuclear age.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
My phone must have really been driving Judy nuts because there's a ton of messages there. No wonder she woke me.
And so that's what's going on. Let's see. We have a now we've got some other big oil fields here in Colorado, out here on the eastern slope. Uh, I think it's part of the Nairobi, uh, uh, whatever they called art, uh, not plateau, but
Right. Field.
like the fields, yeah,
Yeah.
like the Bakken fields up in North
Right.
Dakota, and don't mind my light over here. I guess the battery is getting low, so it's kind of flickering a little bit.
Oh,
So now I've got a use for those Tenergy batteries that I won from Ready Set Drove. I could
oh yeah.
charge them up and put them in this place, and then that way I'll always have fresh batteries. So,
Uh,
ah,
yeah. I
so
just
let's
noticed
talk
something.
about our next subject, which is how long did China know about this pandemic, and how serious was it? Steve Carpenter sent me a video yesterday that really opened my eyes to where, did you know, in that latest trade deal that we just signed, there's a clause in there, in the event of a pandemic, that they could just walk away from this deal.
Oh no, I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have felt that this was a China created situation,
Yep.
anyways. Well, it was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it started from there. So whether
Yep.
it wasn't it may not have been lab created,
Yeah.
or they've gotten so good that our people can't figure out whether it is, or they're just refusing to say.
They're refusing to say because You got to remember they're a communist country, and communist countries are very closed society.
Well, not. I mean, our people have looked for certain signs of a virus to see if it's
Oh, okay.
man-made or not, and our government, I think, may just be refusing to say right at this moment.
Yeah, because they don't want to make this situation
Oh,
worse
wait.
than it is.
Yeah. I think when
Yeah,
we get through this, them and who will have a
yeah.
lot to answer for.
Hmm. And I mean, if you think about it, we could be in a world war right now without any shots being fired. This could be a biological war, maybe either intentionally or unintentionally, where the Chinese are using this to get out of a deal, uh, to really kind of wreck our economy.
I
Right?
I honestly think it is. I mean, I've thought that for quite a bit, you know. So, I was just told to check this, and
Okay. And but in the long run, it'll probably end up hurting them because it's not only hurting us. We're like the engine, the
right.
economic engine of the world, and if we slow down, the rest of the world slows down. I mean, look at what happened in 1929.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
stock market crash here. It was a ripple effect where the markets around the world collapsed. And it engulfed the world and really hurt a lot of people. And uh,
yeah, and it has been. I was going to what Steve said. It's been a long time coming, and what you were saying. I honestly think this was perpetrated by China, and their idea was to destroy our economy.
mhm,
And dare I go so far as to say that the left wing liberals and socialist people on with their agenda in our own government kind of allowed this to slide through, you
mhm.
know?
Yeah, that's a possibility, and that's why they got this impeachment going,
Right.
rather than saying, "Okay, we got this thing going on here
Yeah.
in January. Maybe we
Yeah.
ought to,
Don't
postpone
don't
that."
look at the bottle. Don't look at the bottle. Look at the guy right here, and
Yeah.
and then over here they're bringing in China with their pandemic stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah. I've seen that. Uh, I have a friend who's an author. I don't know where he gets his stuff, but he sent me about 4 years ago a book,
Right.
and it actually deals with what we're dealing with right now.
Right.
You know, he
Hmm.
said it was written during the Obama era,
Wow.
and they talk about this very thing. And it was a pandemic, and it was the idea was is created, and there were certain people, certain countries, that were going to be shipped the antibodies, and it was really at that time was considered an Arab thing, but China kind of moved up into the world powers position,
Right.
and of course they got the chemicals that they used for this from China in the book. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's highly probable. I mean, I'm not
Hmm.
wearing a tinfoil hat or anything, but still.
Well, I mean, we could go back to the United Nations and ask for reparations from
Yeah,
the Chinese. Just kind of like our version of the Versailles Treaty
right.
against China.
Yeah,
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 because they were hiding how severe this was, and I mean, look, it it's really hard for me to believe that United States has surpassed China in the number of cases, because we're only one third the size of China,
yeah,
maybe even one quarter the size of China, and
yeah.
we've got more. That just doesn't
Well,
end up.
there's I don't think anybody with two brain cells rubbed together believe that we're ahead of China in deaths.
Yeah.
You know, uh, China has now created the essence a new world bank for financing loans around the world for gas, transportation, infrastructure. So it'll be in place for them to take over. That's
Yep.
yeah.
That's right, Steve. Hmm.
Suddenly started playing humanitarian at the last minute, and like
Hmm.
uh, I agree. This is probably in their plans
Yeah.
for quite a long time.
Hmm.
Just waiting to enact it, and they found the right situation, and that was you have the never Trumpers out there that just can't accept that we have a president and we need to accept it and move on. If you don't like it, get somebody else nominated.
Yep.
Okay, next time around, but accept
Hmm.
it. We accepted it when Obama was in office, and I didn't like saying he was my president, but he was my president. If he drove up in a limousine, I'd have treated him with respect, in front of my house.
Right. Hmm.
Uh,
And
but
now they want to launch an investigation into Trump on his handling of
Yeah,
this
of
thing.
course. It's there again, a distraction away from what's going on. So China will have a free path. The
Yep.
problem, the part of the problem is the left and the socialist liberals don't quite know how they can't get a good way to handle Trump. They haven't figured it
Yep.
out. And
Hmm.
I mean, think about uh Bill Clinton, we called him Slick Willie because he was
Yep.
getting out of it. Of course, he had Mama Clinton there, his wife, who is
Yep.
who is, you know, uh, a made person,
Yeah.
that took people out,
Yeah.
and
Well, they had help with their rich billionaire friends like George Soros and
Soros,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
and that's another guy that you're going to watch coming out of this. Uh, really, yeah, he's not going to be harmed by it. He's got his money invested. He knows what's going on before it happens with to the rest of us, and he's
Hmm.
got his hands there, and he's got his money shifted around or whatever. We need to get that guy. Get him,
Yep.
you know.
Hmm.
But
Yep.
anyways,
Oh, and now I see a
exactly,
lot of
Rich.
my liberal friends going after Trump because he may have a stake at that with that drug that he was touting, that hydroquinine.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then the media is trying to get after him by saying, "Oh, you, are you a doctor? I mean, how can you peddle this drug?"
yeah.
And
There's yeah. This is their way of distracting again.
yeah,
And Trump's a businessman,
yeah,
and businessmen that are successful, and all successful men have failed.
hmm,
If you don't fail, it's not a matter of that you didn't fail, but when you're going to. And
yeah,
so all good businessmen
yeah,
fail at least once,
yeah,
maybe twice before they finally. I mean, Colonel Sanders, good God, that was the most failed man. And if you go back and look at Colonel Sanders'
yeah,
history, he really had a rough time for a long time, and
hmm,
finally got it going and got it together. And that was because of the guy from Wendy's came in and helped him really make it
yeah,
nationwide. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. He did. I think he worked for Colonel Sanders
yeah,
before he started Wendy's. Yeah, they found
yeah. He actually helped put Colonel Sanders on the map,
right.
and uh, he got Harlan Sanders to come out in front of everybody and become that person that he was, what we saw.
Hmm.
And that's why when he finally he sold out his shares, uh, and Wendy's started up. That's why he would come out and talk, and that's why he'd have his
Yeah.
daughter come out and talk.
Hmm.
Because yeah,
Yeah.
that was. That was a marketing genius. But there was a guy that was failed. Well, Donald Trump's done that too, but he's a businessman and respect that he may, as the CEO of the United States, come out and say, this is the plan we're working on. But he's going to go to his COO, which is
The
Pence, and
cabinet. Yeah.
and then he's going to go to his his treasurer and all. He lets these people do their job.
Right.
You know, the biggest problem, and that's the other thing. You used to hear it in the news, but not enough, is that Obama micromanaged everything.
Yep.
If he
Hmm.
flea farted on Pennsylvania Avenue, it was because Obama told him he could.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
Whereas Trump, he may control a lot of stuff, but he looks at it in the big picture. In
Hmm.
the end, will this be better for the people of the United States? And in his opinion, it will.
Hmm. Well, Mike Roach says that notice 500 confirmed cases in,
His
uh,
county,
yeah, low compared to New York State. Yeah,
yeah,
well, yeah. Another point that I wanted to make is how the press has been just nonstop attacking Trump. And I posed the question on my Facebook page, what an uproar there would have been if a reporter would have asked FDR, uh, why are you calling it a Japanese attack?
yeah.
You
Instead of
know?
like I put up the political correct way,
Hmm.
the Asian occupants of the island of Japan
Yeah, there you
in
go.
a retributory correction.
There you go. There you go. And boy, did I get flack from some of
Yeah,
my liberal friends. And you saw that.
I saw it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just and he put up all these points of. And did you see my answer?
Yeah, I did.
I
Yep.
said, I've looked at all these. At what point where was the offense at?
Hmm.
There wasn't one thing. Where are the recordings? You know,
Yeah.
because he kept these were just people writing their opinion what they thought he said. But when you look at what he said, there wasn't nothing there that was racist.
Hmm.
You know,
Yep.
and that's what they do. They banter their word around racist, like
Mhm.
uh, like it's
Like,
because you have a different opinion, you
yeah.
know. Now they've come up with a name for people that have a different opinion of a different mindset. We're called xenophobes. Judy says, excuse my language. She says, what the hell is a xenophobe? Well, originally it was people are scared of aliens from outer space, but now
Right.
they've used it for anybody coming into this country that's not uh,
Legal or,
or yeah,
yeah.
well, even those coming in, like, well, we didn't want the Chinese coming. Well, we're being xenophobic against the Chinese. No,
Hmm.
we're being virus phobic.
Hmm. That's right.
But they're using they took a name that referred to it was out of science fiction writing.
Yep.
Xenophobia was people that were scared of, when all the interplanetary
Yeah.
intergalactic movement,
Yeah. Alien races. Yeah.
alien race
Yep.
prejudice. They're called xenophobia, but now they've applied that to people from other countries because just calling you racist isn't good. They got to call you xenophobic. Get
Hmm.
alive. That shows you right there. Those people are still living in their parents' basement and reading too much sci-fi.
Hmm.
And I'm
Yep.
a fan of sci-fi.
Yeah. So am I. And uh, the last time I did a sci-fi trivia, boy, it took forever for you people to figure out what was who. Oh, it was Rick Halbert who finally got the answer, because it turns out I asked the wrong people. I asked what a Star Trek question when most of the people that were at my channel, they were
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars fans.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Ooh, oh,
Yeah. I've been a fan of both.
mm-hmm,
I let's see, I've got an R2D2 sitting right there. I've got a Millennium Falcon, Bluetooth uh, speakers
Right.
up there. Uh, Somewhere up there, I actually have a mechanical Jar Jar Binks, and down the hall, I have in my office or in my storage room, I have a collection of Star Trek autographs. Uh, I just bought all my 2 years ago when we went down. She had 3 boxes full of Star Trek memorabilia,
Wow.
and they were she could use the money, and she said whatever price, and I gave her that. I gave her a good price for it, and then added a little extra because it was for her birthday too. So,
Oh, great.
you know, it helped them out. And I had the money at the time, so I could buy it. I bought, God, I've got all the Hallmark Star Trek ornaments,
Oh, cool.
from the past. I got a full set of the captain's mess with the Star Trek plate off of one of the sets.
Oh, neat.
She she knew people, and I got boxes of it back there that I brought home from that trip to New Mexico. So
Yeah.
I like both. I'm not on either camp.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm the same here. I have some Star Trek books. Like one was a chronological book, but then I found out there's flaws in that book. It doesn't match up with the Star Trek canon, you know.
Yeah,
But
and that got changed with the Kelvin timeline, so that
yeah,
completely changed everything.
yeah,
So yeah.
hmm
See, I knew what
yeah.
the Kelvin
And
timeline
press that
was.
like button, please, fellas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do.
Hmm.
But yeah, and some people are just uh, really dead set against, you know, one. You got to be one side or the other. There again,
Yeah.
I'm a moderate person, and so I'm pretty well like them both. I've
Mm.
got William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy's, James Duhannon, uh, Nichelle Nicole, uh,
George Takai.
George Takei. Yeah, I have all their autographs. I think the only one I don't have is Dr.
Walter.
McCoy's
Who?
and uh, uh,
Walter. Yeah. Koenig.
DeForest Kelly. DeForest
Oh,
Kelly.
DeForest Kelly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Walter Koenig. I don't know if I have his or not. I'd have to go look.
Yeah.
And then I've got uh, Picard, Riker. Trying to think of who
Data.
else.
Worf. Tasha
Yeah,
Yar.
I've got
Yeah.
Worf. I actually got to meet him. That guy. Yeah, and I got to meet Leonard Nimoy. Uh,
Oh, cool.
Leonard Nimoy. I mean, I was sitting, oh, probably less than 15 feet from Leonard Nimoy when he was giving. Judy and I were our boys got together, and
Right.
Patrick, the youngest one, was living in Tulsa at the time. He went and stood in line to get the tickets and got us front row center seats
Oh,
for the Star
cool.
Trek convention. I mean, we're talking we were literally 15 feet from Leonard Nimoy, and then we've
Wow.
got a picture of him and Judy together, and uh, who's the guy that was he was on Xena. He was on, I don't know,
Oh,
the
oh, Kevin Zorbo.
no, not Kevin Sorbo. This was one of the minor characters. He played the
Oh,
principal, and
yeah.
he's done that the Living Dead or whatever those things are, where he has to. He's done several different movies,
Right.
and then they turned it into a series. He goes around blowing up people with his shotgun.
Oh, yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
that guy was in a series on, oh, God. He was on a cable network series. What? Oh, Burn Notice. He was on Burn Notice.
yeah. He played the father. He played the father of the guy on Burn Notice.
No,
No,
wasn't the
who was he?
father. He was the FBI guy.
Oh, was he? Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
because he knew this guy because they were, sort of in the same
Yeah,
circle.
yeah, yeah.
But what's his name was in CIA, and the other
Right,
guy
he was
was
in the
FBI.
FBI. Yeah, well, we've got pictures of us with him and his
Yep.
autograph. So, yeah,
Hmm.
so I've I've been to a Star Trek convention, and no, I don't dress up. In case you
Welcome to Arts Place Sci-Fi Show,
we did get off track. I'm so sorry, but
where we
oh,
boldly go where no one
no
has
man has
gone
gone
before.
before. Speaking of that, I've yet to watch any of the new Star Trek series or Picard. I just when
Huh.
they, I don't know. I can't see paying. I'm doing it because
It's only
one, it,
$5, $6.
I know, but I don't want CBS to get any of my money.
Well,
You
last
know,
night
this communist broadcasting system.
this is how bored I was last. I went on my Roku and I was going to see if there were any of the episodes of Discovery that I missed. And I went through and I go, hey, I'm all caught up on Discovery. I looked through because I knew the first season. I skipped a couple, and I think, yeah, I did see that one, that one, that one. Yeah, I've seen them all, and I've seen all the Picard, and then I wanted to watch some of the other shows because I wanted to watch.
Yeah, you take care, Ron.
All right, Ron, thanks for coming in. What I wanted to do was watch the episode where they kidnapped Archer because, well, they kidnapped Dr. Phlox because the Klingons had a virus that was running loose. And then later on, it turned out the cure took away their cranial uh, ridges, and they looked more like humans.
In other words, they made them look more like they did in the original Star Trek series.
That's
Because,
right.
yeah, what a inventive way to settle that.
Mm,
Saves
yep.
on makeup costs too. Have to have all those Klingons sitting in makeup for 4 hours.
Hmm.
To have that put
Oh,
on.
and if you saw, let's see, in DS9, they did an episode where they went back in time to the episode Trouble with Triples,
I do remember that.
and they were on K9. Was it no K7? Was the name of the place? They were in the lounge area there, and Worf was there. And when the waitress said, "Don't ask for this drink," because the Klingons are all drank it up, and they, what Klingons? Oh, over there. And then they kind of looked at Worf and said, "What's up with that?" Because they look like humans.
Yeah. Yeah,
They,
that's
it's a long story. I'll tell you later.
okay. All
All right.
right, Jaybird. Yeah, we've gone way off track.
Well, let's get back to serious business. So
do you think? Do you think? Did you see what Steve just put up there? You think they could come back in time and beam up all the Dems and liberals in Congress and take them to a place where no one has gone before? I just say eject them into deep space.
there you
Put
go.
them, put them all in. Don't even bother with putting them in life tubes. Just send them out through the chute.
Yep, that's
Right,
right.
right out through the photon torpedo bay. Launch
Yeah,
them.
there you go. Or you could be like the Kazons, where they just beamed bodies out into space.
Yeah, yeah, that works too.
They either froze up or they just burned up, depending
Let's get
on they
Mike
were
says let's get back to xenophobia.
okay.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
a new cat.
I thought xenophobia was people that didn't like that Xena
Xena,
show.
the warrior princess. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I don't like that show. You have xenophobia.
yeah. There you go.
But she was hot looking though. So
He was trying to bring all these subjects together. Good try. I don't, and I apologize to all of you guys, especially Art. If I get started on the wrong track, somehow if anybody leaves me for 30 seconds to take a subject, I want to take it off the track. It'll go off the rails, and everybody just kind of gets drug along with me.
And folks, remember, Lloyd just woke up before this show.
Yeah, literally. my, my,
He's probably still got his pajama bottoms on.
yeah, I do. I actually, Judy actually woke me. She says, "Your phone's been dinging over there," and says, "Don't you have a show to do?" And I looked up and it's like 1:35 and go, "Oh crap." Which meant I had 25 minutes to get her something to eat for breakfast, to get uh,
Yep.
to fix her something because we have. That's the other thing, man. I haven't left the house in like 2 weeks now, and it's starting to get on my nerves.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You've been to the store. How can you say you've never been out of the house?
No, those were filmed from the last time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we started self isolating about the 1st of April.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
last week, well, yeah, I've been fishing a couple times and uh, didn't catch anything. It just the water needs to warm up. Now we just had a snowstorm, and I think it's going to be about upper 20s, low 30s today and tomorrow, and then we'll start warming. Okay, so let's get to our last subject. Last Thursday, we had our congressional assembly here in Jefferson County, and
okay,
we're in Congressional District 7. So, what you do at this assembly is, especially every 4 years, we start nominating people to go to the National Convention, the
okay.
Republican Convention. Uh, Boy, do you know where the convention's going to be held this year?
No, actually, I don't. I haven't
It's
really
going to be in
heard.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm. And that'll be in August, I believe.
okay.
Be nice and hot when they get
Yeah,
there.
and humid.
Yep. And so they had two elections. One was for delegates going to the national convention. The other one was uh, they were selecting candidates to run for CU region.
Oh,
And
okay.
now they've been the last couple assemblies they've been doing this online, which I kind of like because then I get to skip all the mumbo jumbo and
Right.
bloviating speeches where I could do some other stuff on the computer and I come back and I go, oh, can I vote yet? Nope. And so I did that and I was able to vote for
Thank you
the,
for stopping by, Steve.
thanks, Steve, that I voted for the candidate for CU Region. And I know this person. We had her as a guest on our show, and that's Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, yeah. Guess what? I remember that because you're having Nancy Pelosi on our
Yeah.
show. Yeah, yeah. I remember her.
So I was waiting for the next ballot, and I kept going back and forth. And I think what I did is I went to go to the bathroom, and I came back, and that the voting was closed. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I've been trying to vote, but anyway, the people that I wanted to vote for, they won anyway. Uh,
Good, good.
so Libby Szabo, she's our county commissioner. She won handily. She was the number one seed. So it was the top two seeds get to go, and the second seed was Maria Weiss. I gotta have her on this show. She is a character. I've known her for about 10 years. She's from Cuba. She and
Oh,
her family escaped Cuba in the early 60s,
right.
and so she came to my birthday party this year,
Oh,
which was
cool,
really
cool.
nice. And her husband Gary, look, was just like Trevor Loud because
Oh,
I
okay.
remember
Yeah.
one time when I saw him, I called him Trevor, and
Right.
he goes, "No, I'm Gary Weiss." Oh,
Did you explain it to him?
yeah, I did. And he goes,
Oh,
"Oh, okay."
yeah.
Mhm.
Which Trevor Loudon's been on here before too.
Yep, and
Yeah, he's
he's
now
been on.
he's the Australian, right?
He's a Kiwi.
He Oh yeah, he's from down under either way.
Yeah, you don't want to get
I
those.
would have gotten in deep trouble if I'd asked Australia. I remember I've
Yeah,
slept since then.
they
Okay.
got a big rivalry going.
Oh yeah, well when they the thing is when they got there when they became independent, uh, they were offered, when they were self governed, I guess I should say, they were offered the opportunity to become one of the states of Australia, and they said no, we'll do it on our own.
Oh, okay.
And but then half of those in New Zealand are moving to Australia, so
Yeah.
so yeah,
Well,
there's a little.
they're part of the Commonwealth.
They're
Uh,
all part of the Commonwealth, but and they're still ruled by a governor general,
yeah,
and but when they've got a type of independence I don't understand, because I say, how can you be independent when you still got the queen as your head of state,
yeah.
But their election. One thing I like about at least Australia is if you don't vote, you get paid a fine. You have
Oh,
to pay a fine. You get charged a fine, and you have
wow.
to pay. Yeah, $100 or something like that if you don't vote in an election.
Uh,
You know.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, the yeah, Maria was the second place winner because I was able to see the graph that the voting, and there were a few people there. I was like so glad that they didn't make it because they were part of the RMGO
Yeah.
uh, wing. Yeah, so glad that they didn't make it. But we got one more assembly, and that'll be next Saturday. Uh,
Okay.
but I'll be an alternate, so if I don't get seated, then I'm just gonna uh, not stick around because I got
Right.
things to do.
Now, does this put you in a position where you might be able to go to the national convention?
No, because I didn't run for delegate, and you have to be what's called a bonus member. And
Okay.
bonus member, then they qualify to be a delegate or an alternate
Right.
to the National Assembly.
Okay.
So I think what it is, I think the third and fourth place people, they get to be the alternates for that congressional assembly to go. And I think with the state assembly, we're going to be voting on more delegates to go to the national assembly.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
So we don't have any statewide races this cycle. I don't think. No, no, we don't. So uh,
Yeah, I don't think we do either. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
but you
yeah, we
know,
don't have governor's race. We don't have treasurer, secretary of state, because I those are 4 years, and those are
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and ours is offset by. I think ours is actually offset by 1 year rather than two.
oh
So our governor is uh like next year. I think is
oh
our governor raised. You
ah
know,
okay. Well, here
or
in
in
Colorado, all the statewide or the state races are on even number of years,
yeah,
but the municipal races, those are on odd years.
right, right.
Yeah,
I think it might have to do with the fact we became a state in 1907. So
right.
we odd year we elect a governor, and
Mhm. Yep.
but I can't I can't remember. I know right now our governor's
Yeah, you
catching a
were
lot of
just a
heat.
kid then.
Do what?
You were just a kid then.
I was just a kid then. I don't remember all that. It's yeah, but yeah, something like that. Anyways.
I do have an American flag that has 46 stars.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it
that's the
was
one that
right
was
after Oklahoma became a state.
right, right, yeah. We were a lot of the schools were still using the, 48 states even though, you know, well, Alaska and Hawaii were the 49th and 50th.
Yep, that's
And,
right.
they, a lot of schools just didn't replace the flag, you know?
Hmm.
And,
Yep.
uh, matter of fact, I think our school didn't replace it, no, they'd replaced it once before. I remember we got, this is where I got involved in politics.
Hmm.
Uh, our 5th grade class wrote to our congressman in Colorado
Right.
and asked him to, because you could write him and ask him, they'd get a flag that, because they'll raise a flag up, over the over the Capitol building, and then they take them down and they, like during certain parts of the day, certain times of year, they raise the flag up and down 3 or 4 times, and they've got flags for the congressman to give out to schools and special
Right.
occasions, stuff like that. And we got one that had been flown over the Capitol of the United States, and
Cool.
he came to the school and delivered it.
Mm,
And,
wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah, and he was a Republican. That's when,
Yeah.
I knew I was ready to which side I was on, which really didn't bother my mom because she was a Republican, but dad was a Democrat. But,
Nah, okay.
you know,
Well, I think back when you were a kid, wasn't Aspinall still a congressman here?
yeah, I think, yeah, 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 yeah,
Now, he was a conservative Democrat.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been a Republican in
In
today's.
today's time. Well, yeah, and that's it. The parties have switched up so much that,
Yep.
uh, you're gonna find very few, well, you guys hear me in my videos talk about old Charlie, you know, Charlie's Chicken that I go to all the time, and, he's an old blue dog Democrat and has been for years, but
Yep.
he says, "I cannot stand the Democratic Party, especially Nancy Pelosi."
Yep.
He says, "I've started voting." He says, "I voted for Trump," and he says, "And I'll vote for him again." He says,
Wonderful.
"And I'm switching my party." So,
Wonderful. Hey, I want to say hello to Ed. Love my drones. Welcome to
oh,
the
hey,
show. And I want to say happy birthday to Ed. His birthday was Thursday when.
that's what I was thinking. He just celebrated a birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. 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 So yeah, there's a really good website if you want to. You're really into politics. It's called Political Graveyard, and this will give you so much information about uh, U.S. politics to where I mean they have a list of okay politicians who died in office,
All right.
politicians who died of cancer, politicians who committed suicide, politicians who were killed in accidents. And I mean, there are so many different. I mean,
Well,
they,
wasn't that like half?
how many politicians were athletes? Uh, do you, I,
How many of those that committed suicide, died in accidents or other unnatural causes? How many of those had asterisks by their name says was part of the Clinton dynasty?
yeah, they might have one there.
Yeah, maybe they need to put an asterisk at the bottom. Worked for the Clinton cabinet.
Okay, name the congressman or senator that was an NFL football player, and he was a quarterback.
Oh my god, this one I should know. I'm not a football fan, so uh,
Jack Kemp.
Jack Kemp. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
Well,
Mike
and
Roach got
another
it.
one was J.C. Watts was a with the
Yeah, JC Watts. Yeah, he's from he's from Oklahoma. He's
yep.
uh
So
was it his father or his cousin that got arrested for murder?
oh yeah, yeah. You were telling me about
Yeah,
that. And you know what? And that could be in political graveyard,
yeah,
and that gives you names of people who served as either state reps, state senators,
yeah.
uh, even on the state supreme courts. You know, going all the way back to when it was a territory. I mean, that's how much information there is.
Yeah,
So,
Love My Drone said he stopped being a football fan when they started kneeling during the American anthem.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's a
same
lot
here.
of people that way, and
Mhm.
I well, since that I haven't. I used to watch the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs, but I haven't even done that.
Yeah,
And I just stepped away from all of it because I wasn't a big fan, anyways. And actually, I kind of stopped after the year they quit putting the Budweiser Clydesdales on there on the commercials for the Super Bowl. You know,
wow.
so it's like that's what I want to see. The commercials. Half the time, I could care less who won as long as they had a good commercial.
So it's a really interesting site, and you know, after the show, I'll have to go and check it out, and because it's got a line. Oh, they even have a section on political dynasties.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Really interesting. You know,
yeah.
the Taft family. They were a big dynasty in Ohio.
Well, Taft was big wherever he was at.
Yeah, and then the
Bad
Bush
joke.
family.
Who?
Well, of
Oh,
course,
the Bush.
Kennedy's
Yeah.
and the Long family. You know, Huey Long and
Yeah, Huey Long and yeah, they were from Louisiana. They had uh quite a interesting life.
right.
Yeah.
We had well, the guy that our Republican that ran for governor against Polis, he's part of the Bush family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a distant cousin of the
Yeah.
Bush. Yeah, because well, his first name is Walker, Walker
Oh,
Stapleton,
okay.
and that would be on I think Barbara's side of the family.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, mhm.
I'm a distant cousin of the Nixons.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. And the thing was with Nixon, he has two lines of the Mendenhalls in his family tree.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That I bet if you go to political graveyard, you might be able to find some information about the
Yeah.
Mendenhall. You might have more than one political member in your
There
family.
could be. Yeah. Because we've got uh there's the Mendenhall that was a secretary. Well, he wasn't a secretary, but he worked as uh, he set the weights and measures. He was part of
Oh, okay.
and then of course we got the one in Mendenhall, Mississippi, and we got the the one Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska was by one of the uh, Mendenhalls that went up. I don't know if he discovered it or if he was in charge. He was a minor secretary, and they chose his name to put on one of the glaciers. You know,
Mhm.
just what we want to be. Uh, yeah, art is a treasure of information. If I want to go to somebody for trivia, art
Yeah.
knows it. You know,
Hmm.
my memory isn't like it used to be, which just I used to have.
Well,
I
mhm.
used to have a pure photographic memory,
Yeah.
but
Now it's more
my
like a
film's not developing. Yeah,
yeah. It needs more sunlight to develop.
yeah, exactly. It's just not
You,
developing like it used to.
you gotta
Yeah,
go like this.
exactly. Yeah, Polaroid. Yeah, a really bad Polaroid camera. Yeah. Well, we can't
Now
laugh at
it's
ourselves. Somebody
more
else will.
underdeveloped.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I could think about it, but I just don't quite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His ASA rating is very low.
his uh, Carlos says my sister worked at City Field. She used to get me in for free and feed me beer. Never
Beating
watch the
beer.
game, only watch the people. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, back in the day, you could go to Coors and for a tour,
Yeah.
and during the Depression, of course, Coors was still running,
Yep.
and my grand grandpa and grandma would go up there with one of uh, my aunt and uncles, and they the one aunt and uncle, they were the only one in the family had a car, so they'd load into their Model T and they'd all go up to Boulder and take the tour just to get the free beer.
Not in Boulder.
Not Boulder, in Golden.
Golden. There
Yeah,
you
yeah. I knew it when I knew. Why did I say Boulder?
go. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's in Golden, Colorado. As a
Yep.
matter of fact, speaking of Coors beer, I told you that you know Judy was. I told you before the show, Judy was digging out some stuff
Yep.
and found a little bottle, and the label is faded and everything, but I turned it just right, and I found that little circle that shows the waterfall
Oh, yeah, the
in the.
waterfall.
It's
Yeah.
Coors, yeah, it's a Coors,
Mm.
yeah. Speaking of GOP, I know I showed this to you. Did I? I didn't show it on the show, but
Nope. Yeah,
Judy was
go
Judy.
ahead.
That's why I had it here. But Judy was digging through a box of stuff, which she decided we needed to sort out, and we found this. This is from 1996, and it's uh, Frankoma pottery. But yeah, this was for and these things are Frankoma is very collectible in our area because the Frankoma actually the place burned down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they burned down and they've rebuilt, but it was a massive fire here. So anything from that era is collectible because a lot of those molds are no longer available.
Right.
So
So, so they went to pot.
they went to pot. Yeah.
Well, one guest that I am working on trying to get is Francis Marcos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a philanthropist and he's well connected in a certain political family in the Philippines.
Okay.
And I just saw him on a live stream a couple of nights ago. And hopefully I get him on this show, or maybe we'll, with this thing going on, we could do one during
Did,
the. Yeah.
let me backtrack a second. Did you say Marcos?
Yeah.
And he's from the Philippines?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said he's
Yeah.
connected
His
in a
name,
family.
his nickname is FM Boss.
FM boss.
Yeah, Francis Marcos. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That
and
would be interesting. Yeah.
he does some. He gets on different live streams in the Philippines, and so I just became friends with a Philippine blogger. Excuse me, and I saw him on there, and I think I was having dinner or something, and I said, "Well, as soon as I get done eating, I gotta run in and watch the rest of this." But by the time I got to the computer, the stream was over.
Ah,
All right.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I asked the guy, "Hey, I would really like to have uh, Francis Marcos on Arts Place." He goes, "Well, I'll see what I can do to get him on your show." Cool.
That would be cool. That'd be
Mhm.
cool. So,
What would really be cool is if I could get Senator Pacquiao on.
oh, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
It'd probably be easier to do right now because their legislature is not in session right now anyway. So
Right, right.
might be able to.
Yeah. Oh, let me say something. Uh, did you see Rick played baseball for 13 years and figured he needed to get a real job? And by the way, Rick, I didn't win that drawing. Doggone it.
Yeah, Rick, did you get the toffee I sent you? Should have gotten there yesterday. Not yesterday. It'll definitely be there
Yeah.
Monday.
And like I said, I got something in the mail yesterday. I told you about that. I got
Yeah,
a
you're
message
gonna
from
show
somebody
up,
that said, "Yeah, there's a package sitting on a blue chair," and she says, "How do they know that?" Of course, she's kind of freaking out because our Echo Dot, or not our Echo Dot, but we got the full size, the Echo Plus.
right?
She's taken on a mind of her own. She just starts talking when she feels like it. It says, "Did you know?" "No, I didn't want to know either. I'm trying to sleep." Or "Leave us alone." And she'll pause our TV and then start talking to us. Okay,
Oh,
this is
no.
getting freaky. Yeah, exactly. Judy said, I said, "You want me to unplug it?" She says, "No, because I can use it to get a hold of you." And for some reason, when she calls on that now, my phone goes directly to voicemail.
Oh boy.
So it's not ringing through. It was. So I'm going to have to figure out what the problem is. So,
Uh,
but yeah, Echo does listen. Yes.
yeah,
I believe you.
yeah.
Judy will definitely believe you because she believes it too. She actually thinks it's Greg and he hacked our Echo.
No, okay.
He's the one who could do it. If anybody could, it
Yep,
would be Greg.
yep. Well, Lloyd, we did a little over an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to thank you again, as always, for being part of this show. And
Always enjoy it.
I will see you on Mel's show tonight. So
Yep.
I want to thank all you folks who joined us in the chat. Please share the channel out. Go over to Art's Place and share it on Twitter or on Facebook or on other platforms.
Yeah.
But we got to get the name out so we can grow this channel.
Yeah.
And
Because we get the name out there, and then we'll start maybe getting some bigger guests and
yeah,
actually getting more guests so that you don't have to listen to me flap my gums for an hour and a half.
all right. Well, Carlos, Ed, Steve, Rick, uh, Jody, Jaybird, Mike, who else?
Well, we had Ron in here too.
Ron, Mitch.
Love My
That,
Drones.
that's
RL
about
Drones
it.
is uh
I haven't seen Timeless Troops, but
no, he
oh,
usually drops in too.
all right. Well, I want to wish every one of you a happy Easter and enjoy your time with your family. A lot of you, it's probably going to be a small gathering. It might be
Right.
you and your wife or significant other, and you'll be eating whatever is available to you instead of ham or turkey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to have leftover pot roast that I made last night. Oh, and check out that video that I posted. It's on Chef Boy RT.
Yes, I need to check. I saw that pop or heard you talk about it last night, and yeah, I want to wish everyone a very happy and blessed Easter. Uh, and I'm probably going to do like you. I'm going to go in. I got to get ready for Mel's show, so I'm going to go in and have some Frito chili pie.
All right. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Later, all.
Bye bye.